Good afternoon, dear friends. My name is Victor Naumov. I work in the scientific department of the NCC and participate in the RIPE Atlas. What is RIPE Atlas? Probably many are already aware. For those who don't know, I would like to advertise a bit our product, our system. RIPE Atlas is the measurement network of devices of about 4,000 devices installed across the world. All our entire network is built for our community and by means of our community. Anyone can host just a RIPE Atlas probe. You can order online, or approach just to me during the break or to our table, which is right outside the audience. What you'll get, you'll installed this probe. You can look at your network from outside. All 4,000 probes will be at your service. Will be ready to perform measurements what you like to carry out. To measure pings and trace routes. What is RIPE Atlas probe on the whole? This is a small box which you'll need to connect to the power supply through the USB port and to connect to a network that has the outlet for RIPE. RIPE Atlas has been just installed in a space, Internet Exchange points, individuals. Participation in our project is free of charge if you place some number of probes. You can ask why. What is about not paid fund? It's an opportunity to become our sponsor and to get a big set of probes and just to mount them at your discretion. This device is looks like very apparent router. It's a router. It contains our software just based on our equipment. It doesn't make any. Wi-Fi is off. It is assigned only for performing some tasks to participate in RIPE Atlas map. When you connect the probe, it will strike. It will like to carry out embedded measurements. It will be performing pings, trans routes, trial just to ask for DCL certificates and to make DCL queries from root domain servers. If the probe operates with you, you earn just a credit that you can just spend for creating your own measurement. Recently, we have started to introduce big probes that will be placed that users can place, and that they'll be for your own purposes of measurement. They automatically measure by each probe. Thus, you can evaluate maybe your anchor. The purpose of this presentation is to inform the successful application of our system. Too little time for that, but therefore I'll briefly explain. A study has been made on the processing of comparing TCP and UDP responses times of DNS root servers. It was more at the big number of key root servers. The time of response is considerably higher And the subsequent study manifested that there has a bug. DNS that sends an answer in 2 packages, sends the size of the RAM, and as a result, it led to the repairment of the DNS server. The next case of using was with DENIC, which detected percentage points to the injection of wrong DNS answers in China. Stefan Bortsmeyer, who provide hosting for DSL for France, made an experiment on finding most popular instances of DNS server that host is enabled to tune better unicast. Also, other histories that it was detected there's some several filter quarter A answers. It was caused most often the option for compilation of bind was turned on to filter codes and response which if IPv6 is used. Also, it was detected that some percentage, a small percentage of filtering PC, what is network for our members. Well, we propose just a free service, open service. How the purpose of this network is available just under the protocol IPv6. Excuse me for my voice, because my voice became just rough a bit after I was speaking a lot about Atlas. This measurement enabled to carry out trace routes from RIPE Atlas to the mentioned objective and to check how IPv6 is functioning up to it's available for LARR. This service has been devised for IPv6 launch that can just check availability of the NEC, just assess the experience. As I said, the time is not enough in time. Just you can just familiarize this with the articles on the successful on our site on labsripe.net. I would like to point out that I would like to show you an example how by means of RIPE Atlas the efficiency of introduction of L-root copy was evaluated on Open Exchange in Belgrade. This chart it is seen how that half time of the queries decreased considerably by 40 milliseconds. This chart can be shown to your management to demonstrate how substantiated it is to take part in the RIPE Atlas activity, and also certainly that you have done. How you improved your RIPE Atlas and can be used for tracing different events, natural and political events in this map. And this chart shows that during the Hurricane Sandy, how the routing was changed through 2 paths through New York. The red line shows the number of paths through New York. Orange lines, the time of the hurricane. How all routes were moved to Washington route. In this map, it is seen that Ukraine takes active part. There is an even coverage, but the number of roads is not so big. I invite you to participate in ours, even to ask for pros. Yesterday we have disseminated about 50 pros. We have yet some left. Please approach us, and we'll provide you these devices. Regretfully, Ukraine is not in the top lines. The first place occupied by Germany. The second place is occupied by Russia, but Russia is not covered evenly. Mostly the western part of Russia is covered, and in Moscow. Please contact us, put questions, ask me, take our approach, participate in the mailing lists, visit our site labs. Our network is applied. Write articles yourself about your examples of using probes. Thank you. Questions?
Нет.
I would like to thank for this. The only question that is arranged in a strange way that you have presented archives, and there is just only a link to that archives. Accordingly, to send a request and to provide comments is not rather convenient. Recommendation is to just understand your interest and accept your remark. Regretfully, we don't have too many resources. There is not a specially assigned person to do that. As a matter of fact, you can do you may just do it as a robot. And just it's all in our plans. The first step has been made. It's a very good thing to remember. The very same question was put repeatedly. Are there any other questions? Thank you, Victor. Wouldn't it be difficult to inform about technical aspects of the product? What transportation and channels to use? More technical details to provide. And then the architecture are connected to what? I mean, yeah. We have distributed architecture. It's connected to servers, to so-called controllers. Controllers are engaged on aggregation. There's protocol SHA port 443. The port was chosen of that time that most often this port is to be opened by users from outside. The SHA's connection is being using authentication by keys. That proves two channels, SSH tunnel in both directions. One tunnel probes receive commands, for example, users put a task on measurement. Then the system is occupied in distributing this task to some set of probes, and then these commands are sent to different probes. The results of the measurements are accumulated in the memory of a probe. For that, there is a small USB stick. Unfortunately, unfortunately, the device itself doesn't have a big volume of memory to contain all results. If suddenly the probes would be switched off from the system, some controller, for example, is for repair works or simply has fallen, this unless it is connected, so it can accumulate. These results of measurements are sent by another port, through another port, to the server. This data sent by the probe, they are sent as TPP post. There is a small web server which is mounted on a local host and receives these requests. Such commands, why this command in parse. This data are stored on the cluster HBase, from which users can download results. We have about 20 controllers. Each controller receives about 500 probes. Basically, controllers can receive considerably more, but we restrict on purpose if there is some incident on a controller. That not a big number of probes could be migrated to another controller, not to cause a storm above the controllers, the so-called brain. As a matter of the cluster of 2 servers that are occupied with the scheduling of all these tasks and distribute already these tasks to controllers. The brain is the second level of this aggregation of all these commands. And then the website, which operates at the jungle management, and the data are stored in HBase and are available for download. Charts are generated by using data from HBase. Are there questions? We use the previous version of the probe of the black color. Is there any functional difference between them? And why you change the format of a probe? The first series of probes were rather expensive. The price was about 80 euros per piece, and the problem of these probes, those probes that they have no MMU, each request for allocating memory costs a lot. Therefore, these probes have a restricted use, and they cannot perform just many measurements that can be done by this version of them. And the volume of the memory for storing results is also lesser in volume. Therefore, if probes have been separated from the controller for a lengthy period, it cannot collect in itself just many results of the measurements. In principle, for the end user, there is no big difference. The difference is for us, because we have to send less tasks to these probes, and it can only to collect lesser number of results. This TP routing, they are considerably cheaper. It can be acquired at 25 euros. This USB stick cost just also a couple of euros. And the use of this architecture enabled to speed up, to increase the distribution, the allocation of these probes. These are our money, then the cheaper is the architecture, then the simpler is the decision, then it is the better. As far as I remember, in your old architecture, you custom UMDC, and only you couldn't even use the system Linux virus, and then you have more standard environment. Probably that's the software development is cheaper. OpenVRT. It's already a ready-made platform. Certainly, it's in a complex. Just regretfully, I'm not involved in the development of the firmware for the device. The library for the first probe, the first probe uses the first version of the probe use Linux. It's very peculiar, very restricted, very limited. Therefore, the device libc is used there. My quick question on Atlas. Their first version of anchors was particular features. Then it was decided to change them. But we plan to become hostess. But it didn't get the promises to simplify it. But I don't know about the. I think on that question, it's better to contact with Vesna. She is engaged in. She is responsible for the. I cannot cover all possible events and all possible policies on it. They are not applied in Russia. 15 anchor servers operate already. You could see them as objectives, just as 15 servers are already functioning. They are installed in Europe. We plan to place it actively and to sell, to mount aircraft at your discretion. Why this delay was being in place? We would like to make a mesh network of these anchors, which would enable them measure themselves. To carry out those measures, the probes do not allow to use them as objective, but anchors are capable of doing that. And this mesh of these anchors provide more informative. Anchors now measure each other. Just a week ago, we just arranged that we can add or delete measurement probe. If you have launched some measurement, you will be able to add probes or remove probes after the launch when it runs. That was very useful, particularly for anchors, because probes are connected. We can right away add this probe into the existing measurement, which measures the last question. Do you plan in future to provide an opportunity to connect probes via Wi-Fi, or you will be using? Well, we'll regard this opportunity. We regard it. Probably this will be done. It depends on the number of applicants. Our resources are already limited. We are not able to cover. We have a list of some priorities. As I said, anchors are high priority for addition of probes to the existing measurements. And I think that, in principle, yes, there are dialogues about that. There are applicants for that. Thus, I invite you to take part in the discussion for your voice to be, by default, it is off. There is no any code for Wi-Fi. Thank you, Victor. The question is the following. On the one hand, you have simplified the development of the software. On the other hand, well, understand by means GTX cable, we can pull out that firmware and pour out another firmware. Are you not afraid that, or you were thinking that someone can falsify probes outcomes well, we were thinking about that indeed, but if we just what is the percentage of such perpetrators. But to do it, just it's not a problem just to take apart it, but to mount any firmware. But you are connected to a port, but the port is closed. You have to detect to be jacked. It's only for hackers, which are not too many in number. Everything will be noticeable. In addition, if probes have been compromised, first we'll notice that those who intervened, they were able only to steal their own SH key. They try to substitute measurement results, but what is the use of that? If a user wants to edit TP routing, it's better to buy this than to be confused with the jacking it. Next.